delighted and thrilled with this news, as everyone is.
And the Duchess of Cambridge visited Place to Be, heard more about the work of the charity. Just explain what you do and what sense you get as to why the Duchess was particularly keen to support the work that you will do.
Sure, we're a national children's charity. We're working currently in 200 schools across the UK with a school population of about 75,000 children. The Duchess's patronage is enormously important to us because she has such an interest and a real drive and passion about early intervention and about children's mental health. And as you said, she visited one of our projects in Manchester back in April. That's actually a project that we're undertaking with another one of her charities. So it's a partnership with Action on Addiction, another of her charities.
Here has taken 10 years to get to this point. And along the way, senior officers have repeatedly promised the widow of Keith Blakelock they would not give up. Tom Simons, BBC News, Broadwater Farm.
A British teenager has been arrested on the island of Crete on suspicion of killing another British tourist in a fight. A further 17 British men were arrested for allegedly taking part in the brawl outside a bar in the coastal resort town of Malia. The 20-year-old victim was stabbed in the chest. A Ukrainian student appeared in court today accused of the murder of a Birmingham pensioner and also on terror offences. 25-year-old Pavlo Lapshin has been charged with killing Mohammed Salim as he returned from a mosque. He's also charged with planting explosives at 3 locations in the West Midlands. Matt Prodger was in court.
This is Mohammed Salim, an 82-year-old grandfather at a family event. He was killed while walking home from a mosque in Birmingham nearly 3 months ago. His family had no idea why.
It's been difficult for us for the last 3 months. And definitely we have all taken his death personally, and it's been very hard for all of us.
And this is Mr. Salim's alleged killer, Pavlo Lapshin, a Ukrainian student. 5 days before the murder, he'd arrived in Birmingham to take up a placement at a software firm. Police arrested him last week. He was taken to court in London this morning. Pavlo Lapshin appeared in the dock flanked by 3 police officers. He said little apart from confirming his name and date of birth. As well as being accused of the murder of Mohammed Salim, he's also been charged with terrorist offences relating to the bombing of 3 mosques in the West Midlands. He's further alleged to have gathered together bomb-making equipment, including explosive chemicals and modified mobile phones. It's more than a month since a bomb exploded outside a mosque in Walsall, followed by others in Tipton and Wolverhampton. The security minister is visiting the region tonight, but some local Muslims complained that the political and police response was slow.
It's 3 terrorist attacks, and as we've learned recently, it's also part and parcel of a murder inquiry. So it is quite big, and the focus hasn't been there that they would think it should have.
Detectives travelled to Ukraine this morning for further investigation. Pavlo Lapshin will appear at the Old Bailey in 2 days' time. Matt Prodger, BBC News at Westminster Magistrates Court.
Emergency services are searching for 2 teenage girls reported to be missing in the River Wear in the Fatfield area
people are
of
missing in
Washington.
the river.
Northumbria police were called just before 3 p.m. today, and the
Wow,
search
missing
involving
in the
dozens
river.
of emergency
Missing.
service personnel
What's
is
it doing?
going on.
I don't
Well,
know.
we can talk now to our correspondent Fiona Trott, who's in Fatfield near Sunderland. And Fiona, what can you tell us about what happened there this afternoon?
Well, this is a very small part of...
And now on BBC News, what will life hold for the future king? Historians and family friends help Sophie Rayworth to chart how a royal birth is both an historic event and a glimpse into the future. And there is some flash photography in this programme.
A new chapter in the history of our royal family has begun.
The birth of a baby boy to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge heralds the beginning of a new era for the British monarchy, but it also marks the continuation of this ancient institution. Throughout history, royal babies have captured the imagination of the world, and this one will be no exception. I've been looking at what lies ahead for our newly born third in line to the throne. From the moment Kate Middleton walked down the aisle here at Westminster Abbey 2 years ago, there was huge speculation about it. They have planned it.
Kate, how are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Kate was in the early stages of pregnancy and hospitalised with severe morning sickness. The story instantly exploded around the world.
Future Queen Kate Middleton expecting her first child.
William und Kate erwarten ein Kind.
The reaction to the news was just a taste of things to come. This tiny baby has begun its life, as it will continue, in the full glare of the media spotlight.
Looking at the swarms of cameras around the palace or the hospital or whatever, you might think media interest has increased. In fact, in the scale of the times, royal babies have fascinated every generation in their different ways.
Royal children have always lived life in the public eye. They have to be visible from the start. Our present Queen has been photographed since birth, and throughout her childhood, family photo calls and public appearances were regular events.
I think the awful thought about it for me is that she can never ever do something on the spur of the moment, and your whole life is regulated. As I once heard her say, once you accept that kind of life, it just becomes your life.
But as technology advances, the pressure has become more intense.
The people in there.
His child overcomes some of the hurdles that, of course, he himself had to overcome.
The arrival of a royal baby, particularly one in direct line to the throne, has always been an occasion for national celebration, and many of the traditions have remained the same. Then, as now, gun salutes from the Tower of London, and the new arrival is announced with a notice on the gates of Buckingham Palace, as it was at both Prince Charles's birth in 1948 and Prince William's 34 years later. But every new generation of royals also decides to break with some of the conventions of the past. For centuries, royal mothers-to-be had their baby at the birth. Prince William was now second in line to the throne. His future role, like that of his son today, was clear. His tiny baby would grow up to be king one day.
Did you get much of a glimpse of him?
Oh, yes. Oh, I can't have anything else. I'm so thrilled.
What did you think of him then?
Oh, wonderful. Absolutely fabulous.
Things were very different when his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, was born. She was the daughter of Prince Albert, the Duke of York, second son of King George V. Her uncle Edward, then unmarried and childless, was the direct successor to the throne, and Elizabeth was third in line.